I'm actually more fresh. They've been fighting more often and their bodies are more broken down. And I've actually been able to recover a lot over this time. And what really set me apart as a fighter is my like mastery of martial arts. It wasn't that I was so much bigger and stronger and more explosive than everybody, which, you know, I am very athletically gifted.
Extending the arm! She's got to squeeze her knees a little bit. Tate hanging on, desperately trying to survive. Oh, she's going to break it. Oh, it's over! Rousey has done it!
Ronda Rousey, the most iconic woman in combat sports history, has just sent a direct, earth-shattering message to one of the hottest fighters on the planet right now, Dakota Ditcheva. And the MMA world, it is absolutely losing its mind.
She hasn't fought in 17 years. That people don't believe that the fight is going to be as competitive. What do you say to those critics?
Well, I say that nobody is bringing up John Jones' age as a disqualifying factor or Francis Ngannou, you know, and I'm actually more fresh. They've been fighting more often and their bodies are more broken down. And I've actually been able to recover a lot over this time. And what really set me apart as a fighter is my like mastery of martial arts. It wasn't that I was so much bigger and stronger and more explosive than everybody, which, you know, I am very athletically gifted. But if anything, I've become more knowledgeable and more, you know, informed by the evolution of the sport. And I'm more dangerous than I've ever been. And yeah, I don't hear these guys being asked about their age. It's not like my fucking ovaries are fighting, you know? So like, why are we even talking about this?
Ronda Rousey is not just any fighter coming out of retirement. This is the woman who literally built women's MMA, the first female UFC champion, a two-time Olympian, a fighter who once held the record for the most UFC women's bantamweight title defenses in history.
Handshake, tip toss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Now, Rousey stepped away from fighting back in 2016 after back-to-back knockout losses to Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes. She went on to conquer WWE, winning multiple championships there too, becoming the only woman to ever be a champion in both the UFC and WWE. She had 2 children with her husband Travis Brown. She wrote comic books. She lived her life. But then, something clicked.
Good jab right away by Davis. Good overhead right by Ronda. And a big throwdown. Can she do it right here? It's all over. Just like that.
Here's what Rousey herself said about why she decided to come back. She revealed, "We should reclaim our bodily identities together and put on the biggest match anybody has ever seen."
We should like reclaim our bodily identities together and we should put on the biggest match that anybody has ever seen.
In a recent interview, you're going to want to hear this. Ronda Rousey was asked point blank about her future, about whether she's truly done after Carano, about legacy, about the new generation of women's MMA fighters. And Rousey delivered a statement that nobody expected. Ronda Rousey declared, "I'm more dangerous than I've ever been." Read that again. "I'm more dangerous than I've ever been."
Informed by the evolution of the sport. And I'm more dangerous than I've ever been.
This is a woman who is 39 years old, a woman who had 2 kids, a woman who hasn't competed in MMA in nearly a decade. And she is standing there, looking the entire MMA world dead in the eyes, and saying she is more dangerous now than she was when she was obliterating everyone in under a minute. The internet went into meltdown. Fans, analysts, former fighters, everyone had something to say. But here's where it gets really interesting, because that statement wasn't made in a vacuum. Sources close to the situation say Rousey has been specifically watching Dakota Ditcheva, studying her, taking notes. And when Rousey says she's more dangerous than ever, people in the know say she means it as a direct message to the new queen of women's MMA. A message that said, "I see you, Dakota, and I'm coming." Now, if you don't know who Dakota Ditcheva is, first of all, where have you been? But let me catch you up fast, because you need to understand why Rousey calling her out is such a massive deal.
Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But I've been from Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But I've been Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton?
Dakota Ditcheva. nicknamed Dangerous. Born in Sale, Greater Manchester, England. I am 27 years old, and she is undefeated. 15 fights, 15 wins, 12 of those by knockout. Let me say that again. 12 knockouts in 15 fights. She's the 2024 PFL Women's Flyweight World Champion. She finished Tayla Santos, a former UFC title challenger, with body punches in the second round to claim that title and a $1 million prize. She became the youngest champion in PFL history and the first British female MMA world champion ever. ESPN named her the 2024 Non-UFC Female Fighter of the Year. Emma Junkie named her Female Fighter of the Year. Multiple outlets, same conclusion. Dakota Ditcheva is the most exciting women's fighter on the planet right now. She comes from a family of martial artists. Her mother, Lisa Howarth, is a multiple-time world kickboxing champion. Dakota has been fighting since she was a teenager. She won gold at the IFMA World Muay Thai Championships. She is technically gifted, physically terrifying, and she finishes fights in ways that make highlight reels write themselves.
Against the fence with body shots.
Combination again, punching her way out of these clinches.
Naba not able to match speed on the outside.
Crashing in again.
Oh, beautiful knee.
Oh, the clinch is really working for Ditcheva. She gets the turn, and the knee finds its way to the face of Sumiko Naba, and an elbow from Dakota.
Naba can't take a lot of those knees.
In short, she is everything the new generation of women's MMA is supposed to look like, and Ronda Rousey just put a target on her back. So, how did Dakota Ditcheva respond to all of this? Well, the Dangerous as one didn't stay quiet for long. Dakota took to Twitter, now known as X, and fired back with a message that was short, sharp, and absolutely ice cold. At Dakota Ditcheva, more dangerous than ever? I've been dangerous my whole life. The difference is, I'm still undefeated. Come find me. Boom. That's it. That's the tweet. No long paragraphs. No breakdown. Just a sledgehammer wrapped in 6 sentences. The post went viral almost instantly. Thousands of retweets. Fans in the comments called for the fight immediately. Emma journalists quote tweeting it. Even some current UFC fighters weigh in. The message from Ditcheva was crystal clear. Respect to the legend. But this is my era now. And if you want to test that, I'm right here. The 2 words that MMA Twitter has been screaming ever since? Okay, so let's actually talk about this for a second. Because the question everyone's asking is, could this fight actually happen? And if it did, who wins? Now, the stylistic matchup. Rousey says she's more dangerous than ever. She's been doing pelvic floor therapy, rebuilding her core from the ground up after 2 pregnancies. Yes, she talked about that publicly, and she believes her body and her mind are in a better place than they've ever been. Ditcheva has never been submitted. She's never been stopped. She's never even been in deep trouble. This matchup, on paper, would be one of the most compelling stylistic clashes in women's MMA history. Youth, speed, and striking power versus experience, grappling, and sheer legend status. It would be appointment television. And both women know it. But here's what I think is the real story. The story that goes beyond the trash talk and the tweets. Ronda Rousey didn't come back just to fight Gina Carano. She came back because she believes she has unfinished business. Not just inside the cage, but with the sport itself. Because think about it. If Rousey beats Carano convincingly on May 16th, the whole world is going to ask, what's next? And if Dakota Ditcheva's name is already in the air by then, that's not an accident. That's Ronda Rousey playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And Dakota, by firing back immediately, she showed she's not intimidated. She's not starstruck. She's not backing down. That's the sign of a true champion.
Come on in.
Down the fence.
We're ready.
So long and rangy. Oh, put away. Oh,
And every opponent I fight will try to strike and then try and take me down when I hit them. People say, oh, you know, everyone's going to lose once in their life. I don't have that mindset. You're all going for first. There is no second. Like, why are you satisfied with second or third?
12 fights. 12 women stepped into the cage thinking they had what it takes. 12 times. The lights went out. She can end the UFC is going too far. She doesn't just win fights. She destroys opponents. Every time she steps into the cage, it's not a match. It's a warning. One mistake, one opening, and it's over. Because when Dakota Ditcheva fights, survival is optional.
For sure. Santos is in big trouble. She's in big trouble. Dakota Ditcheva to the body again.
This is the story of a woman who turned violence into precision and knockouts into a habit. Her name is Dakota Ditcheva. They call her Dangerous, and she has earned every letter of that nickname. Dakota Ditcheva, born in Sale, Manchester, England, raised in a household where martial arts wasn't just a hobby, it was a way of life. Her mother, Lisa Howarth, was a multiple-time world kickboxing champion. Her father, Ivo Ditchev, is Bulgarian. From both sides of her bloodline flows a warrior spirit that cannot be manufactured in any gym.
Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva is back again. She's been running through PFL competition ever since she set foot on the scene. But Sumiko Inaba is no pushover. She's a seasoned amateur and a proven pro with multiple Bellator fights under her belt. They call her the Lady Samurai for a reason.
Dakota started her martial arts journey as a child. By the time she was a teenager, she was already competing in Muay Thai and kickboxing at the international level. In 2016, she stood on the world stage at the IFMA World Championships in Jönköping, Sweden, and brought home a gold medal for Great Britain. Three-time world champion in the junior divisions before she ever set foot in an MMA cage professionally.
Lovely combo. That sounded sweet from here.
Deep down the middle to the chest.
Right knees up the middle. Goodness me, some of those.
She made her MMA professional debut in April 2021. Since that night, she has been 15-0. 12 of those wins have come by knockout or technical knockout. The other wins? A submission and 2 decisions. Rare moments when she let opponents breathe a little longer than usual.
Dakota Ditcheva has been out of the cage for almost 6 months, but now she's back, leading PFL Africa and starring on the biggest PFL show yet. And she's landing brutal knees in the clinch already and seems to be dominating from the outside, switching stances to keep her opponent guessing. Right now, the variations of feints and strikes seem too much for Lady Samurai to figure out.
Let us go through every single knockout, every opponent, every detail, every unforgettable moment. Knockout 1, Jenny Line. This is where it all began. Dakota Ditcheva's professional MMA debut. She was 22 years old, stepping into the cage against fellow debutant Jenny Line. Neither woman had a professional record. One of them was about to announce herself to the world in the most violent way possible. Jenny Line came in prepared. She had trained hard. She was ready for an MMA fight. What she was not ready for was the level of striking precision Dakota brought from her years of Muay Thai and kickboxing competition. Dakota, from the opening bell, was in a different class. Her footwork was sharp. Her hands were fast, and her kicks carried the kind of power that comes from years of dedicated striking training. She broke line down methodically in the first round and finished the fight with ground and pound, forcing the referee to step in. Knockout number 1 was in the books, and with it, a professional record was born. 1-0. But more importantly, a statement had been made. Dakota Ditcheva was not here to participate. She was here to dominate.
Hide this out.
She loves them elbows, Dakota.
Yeah, like I say, the Thai background, she'll be used to throwing elbows. She wound up with that. I thought she was going to throw an elbow.
I did.
Oh,
spinning elbow.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Knockout 2, Carrie Isom. 5 months after her debut, Dakota was back in action at Celtic Gladiator 30. The opponent this time was Carrie Isom. A first-round TKO again. Barely any time wasted. Dakota was showing a pattern. Enter the cage. Engage. Finish. Carrie Isom was a more experienced fighter than Line, having competed previously in the amateur and regional professional circuit. She carried herself with confidence, heading into this bout. That confidence evaporated the moment Dakota turned up the pressure. The finish came in the first round again. Dakota landed a combination that buckled Isom, followed up with power shots that convinced the referee the fight was over. Clean, efficient, devastating. 2 fights in. 2 first-round TKOs. The MMA world was starting to take notice.
What about that now with these punches raining down? Looking to turn up the leg potentially for a sweep. But Dakota brilliantly slides that knee across. See how she's trapping her legs at the same time.
Stepping over now. And again, just the hat. Is she going to slide that knee over the belly into the mount?
I can foresee some elbows coming potentially from this position. Punches for Dakota, raining down. Okay, really need to improve her position.
No, referee's seen enough, and Dakota Ditcheva moves to 2-0, but Carrie Isom.
Knockout 3, Patricia Borges. 3rd fight, 3rd finish, 3rd round, 1 stoppage. Dakota Ditcheva was showing the world that this was not a fluke. This was a system. Patricia Boris stepped up to face the rising Manchester starlet at UKFC 17, and she too was stopped in the opening frame. With each fight, Dakota was refining her game. The takedown defense was improving. The clinch work, already elite from Muay Thai, was becoming more MMA-specific. She was evolving in real time. Patricia Borges never found a way into the fight. Dakota's striking was precise, every punch with purpose, every kick measured. She pressured Borges against the cage, landed body shots to lower the guard, then connected upstairs for the finish. By now, fight fans in the UK were asking a serious question. When does this girl sign with a major promotion?
Every time she lands one, you can almost see the little smile on her face. She enjoys this punishment.
Oh,
huge
that right hand
shot.
was a big one.
Yeah, the referee's keeping an eye on this as
and
well.
now just covering up
Oh
this
my
Patricia
goodness,
Boris.
this could be it.
She needs to do something.
Dakota
Here we go.
Ditcheva with the finish yet again.
And
Knockout 4, Simone de Silva. And now things get interesting. For the fourth fight of her career, Dakota Ditcheva traveled to Canada for POFEC 1, co-headlining the event. The opponent was Brazilian fighter Simone de Silva, a step up in competition and a different kind of challenge. Simone de Silva was a Brazilian-trained fighter, which in MMA carries a very specific implication: grappling. Brazilian fighters are often trained heavily in Brazilian jiu-jitsu and wrestling. This was, theoretically, Dakota's most dangerous opponent to date, and for the first time in her career, Dakota had to see a second round, but only barely. The fight went into round 2, and Dakota found her rhythm. She took de Silva down, showing surprisingly good wrestling of her own, and finished the fight with ground and pound strikes, forcing the stoppage. This was a significant fight. It showed Dakota could adapt. She could fight on the ground if needed. She could find ways to finish that went beyond pure stand-up striking. Second round, ground strikes, Tico, 4 for 4.
Staying heavy there now, standing up and...
Yeah, and back up.
Oh!
Big right hand out to the back.
That rocked Leonara.
And again,
What a nice
just
knee.
kept hold a little bit when she didn't quite need to, but that's old clinching habits die hard, I guess.
And that just not giving the space. It was only contact
nice.
that let Leonara know where she was. But
Oh,
look
big
at this.
right hand, and the ref waves
Wow.
Knockout 5, Hassan Agaber. This is the fight that changed everything. Dakota Ditcheva's PFL debut, the Professional Fighters League, the Major League, London, home soil, and the world is watching. She had signed with the PFL in July 2022. The announcement sent ripples through women's MMA. Here was an undefeated British prospect. Fast hands, heavy kicks, knockout power in both hands, about to compete on the global stage for the first time. Hassan Agaber was her opponent, a capable flyweight with experience in international competition. This was no gimme fight on a regional show. This was the big leagues. And Dakota? She did not blink. The fight lasted barely a round. Dakota came out composed, read Gaber's rhythm, and started landing with frightening accuracy. Body shots, head shots, elbows in the clinch, a full Muay Thai arsenal on display. Gaber was tough. She tried to hang in there, but the referee had seen enough and waved it off. 5 fights, 5 knockouts, and now the whole world has seen it.
Nice slip and rip there from Dakota. Push kick drops, has the Jabber, and then the right hand after it.
Nice job by Dakota keeping that underhook shallow, using that elbow to frame her out and keep distance where she can create some space and let her hands go in this clinch range.
Jabber looking out of her element here. She's hurt to the body. That's it.
Knockout 6, Catherine Corrigines. Back across the Atlantic, now in the United States, Dakota appeared on the PFL 10 preliminary card. The opponent, Catherine Corrigines. And Dakota delivered what would become one of her most talked about finishes, a clean, thunderous knockout. Lights out, stone cold. This was no Tico. This was a proper knockout. The kind where the body goes completely limp and time seems to stop. The kind where the crowd goes absolutely silent for a split second before the explosion of noise. Corrigines had a solid record and had competed against quality opponents. She gave Dakota a brief moment of pressure early, trying to test her on the feet. That was the wrong strategy. Dakota welcomed the invitation, countered with a left hook that no one saw coming, and Corrigines crumpled to the canvas. 6 fights, 6 finishes, and now the MMA world was not just watching Dakota Ditcheva, they were talking about her.
Okay, let's go.
Dakota Ditcheva said, "I used to train in a small room. No big facility, no crowd watching, no cameras, just me, the walls, and whatever fight I had left in me that day." People didn't know my name then. Nobody was paying attention. But I was. Every single session, every single rep, every single round on that bag, I was paying attention to myself, to the details, to work. I built everything through hard work and dedication. Every title, every finish, every record, all of it, from that small room. And now I am becoming co-president of Octa FC, so I want to give a warning to every single girl in this division. I'm coming back, and I'm coming back to improve my record, and to become even better than I was before. If you haven't heard the name Dakota Ditcheva yet, you're about to.
Yeah, excited to have you here. So a little bird telling me in my ear that we've got good news. It'll be a July fight for Dakota Ditcheva.
I did just have a great chat with Dom. I did actually. Feeling a little bit more hopeful now. I think people were getting a little bit stressed that they weren't going to have me fight this year. But guys, I'm coming back. Don't worry.
It was always the plan to have Dakota Ditcheva fighting in 2025. It will be the first of 4 Champion Series dates in the 2025 calendar.
Born on the 25th of July, 1998, in Sale, Greater Manchester, England, Dakota grew up in one of the most combat sports-driven households you can imagine. Her father, Ivo Ditchev, is Bulgarian, originally from Samakov. Her mother, Lisa Howarth, is a multiple-time world kickboxing champion in her own right. Dakota was essentially born into this world. She describes herself as having 2 nationalities, English and Bulgarian, and is proud of both. She regularly flies a double flag and travels to Bulgaria several times a year to see family. She even speaks a bit of Bulgarian, and you can see that dual identity in how she carries herself, with a quiet confidence that feels bigger than any single country or flag. But her heart? That belongs to Manchester City. She's a lifelong fan, and after every win, she replicates Man City players' goal celebrations as a trademark moment. It's become her thing. Pure joy, every time, completely unfiltered. But what really defines Dakota isn't where she's from, it's what she's built.
Plum and a right hand.
Another one! Big one! Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a hammer fist! Another knockout for Dakota Ditcheva!
Before she ever stepped into an MMA cage, Dakota Ditcheva was already a world champion. At just 17 years old, she was part of the British national team at the 2016 IFMA World Muay Thai Championships in Jönköping, Sweden, and she came home with gold, winning the female junior minus 57 kilogram division. That same year, she also claimed the ISKA Muay Thai British Super Atomweight Championship. She was a 3-time world champion in the junior divisions overall and earned national recognition, winning the Daily Mirror and Sport England Pride of Sports Young Sportsperson of the Year award. Think about that for a second. At 17, she had already done what most fighters spend a decade trying to achieve. The hardware was real, the recognition was real, and the foundation she was building, her striking precision, her timing, her body shot instincts, all of that Muay Thai excellence would later become her most lethal weapon inside the MMA cage. But Muay Thai wasn't the final destination. It was just the foundation. In April 2021, Dakota made her professional MMA debut at Cage Steel 25 in Sheffield. First round stoppage, that would become the theme. Her second fight, first round TKO. Third fight, first round TKO. Fourth, second round finish in Canada. Fifth, a unanimous decision in the way. Fight after fight, she was barely giving opponents a chance to breathe. By the time Professional Fighters League came calling in July 2022, the MMA world had already taken notice. She signed with PFL and made her debut in London. Another first-round TKO, then another knockout in New York. 6 knockouts in her professional career by that point. Then came PFL Europe. In March 2023, she opened the tournament with a first-round rear naked choke submission, showing the division that her ground game was just as dangerous as her striking. In the semi-final, she knocked out Cornelia Holm with a body punch in the third round. In the final, the fight was stopped by the ringside doctor after her opponent's eye swelled shut. Dakota Ditcheva was the 2023 PFL Europe Women's Flyweight Champion. She had arrived, fully. 2024 was the year Dakota Ditcheva became impossible to ignore. April, TKO win over Lisa Molden via knee and punches to the body. June, body punch TKO over Chelsea Hackett in round 1. August, co-win in the semi-finals over Jenna Bishop in Nashville, Tennessee. 3 fights, 3 finishes, 0 doubt. Then came November the 29th, 2024. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the $1 million final. Dakota Ditcheva against Tayla Santos, a fighter who had previously challenged for the UFC world title. This was the biggest test of Dakota's career, and the whole world was watching. Second round, body punches, co. Dakota Ditcheva made history. She became the youngest champion in PFL history. She became the first British female MMA world champion. And she became the first fighter ever to finish Tayla Santos. Let that sink in. A fighter who had gone the distance with the best in the UFC, finished by a 26-year-old from Manchester. She won the 2024 PFL Women's Flyweight Championship and took home $1 million. From a small training room in Manchester to a $1 million world title in Saudi Arabia. The journey had delivered something extraordinary. The awards followed immediately. ESPN Non-UFC Female Fighter of the Year, Emma Junkie Female Fighter of the Year, Combat Press, Cageside Press, Low Kick Mema, all the same verdict. Bloody Elbows Breakout Star of the Year, Emma Fighting First Team All-Star. She swept the industry. No debate, no close calls, just unanimous recognition that Dakota Ditcheva was the best female fighter outside the UFC in 2024. In July 2025, Dakota stepped back into competition at PFL Champions Series in Cape Town, South Africa, beating Sumiko Inaba by unanimous decision, her 15th professional win, 0 losses. Then came an injury setback. A scheduled fight in February 2026 against Denise Kielholtz at PFL Dubai had to be canceled. It was a frustrating moment for a fighter who had built so much momentum, but it was also a reminder that combat sports can be unpredictable. Even the most dominant champions face obstacles outside the cage. The key is how you respond. And Dakota's response? She announced she is becoming co-president of Octa FC, a major move that signals not just her growth as a fighter, but her ambition to shape the sport itself. She's not